Air America. Thanks. All right. Now, if Al Gore can win the Nobel Prize, maybe Bush can win the war in Iraq.
Just the facts, ma'am. And Richard, you just stay right over there. We are not videocasting tonight because Rich has agreed to do the entire show, entirely bound and gagged, naked. Thanks, Richard. Just turn that chair around, would you? All right, class. Answer the question. Who said that Rush Limbaugh is a distinguished American? If you said Fred Thompson, you lose. Darth Cheney? Sorry once again. Now, if you guessed Nobel laureate Mr. Al Gore, you got it right. So come on. Al Gore, Nobel laureate, hot air salesman. Do we really have to draft Mr. NAFTA? We're going to answer that question tonight. And I have to ask you, this new craze, it's a new bug. There's no inoculation to it, apparently, so I'm going to supply the antidote. But there is a new craze out there amongst many of my most progressive friends to draft Al Gore. Now, maybe something's wrong. Have I been moved? Am I living in the United States of amnesia? Wait, listen to this. Let's see if we can count backwards from 5, and you can hear. This will jog
U.S. companies, because it is so difficult to do business in this country, can't wait to get out of this country and go somewhere else, and, if possible, get labor that costs 1/7 of what it costs in the United States.
How would you change it? How would you change it?
How would you change it, Al? Let's go back into ancient history, 1993. Al Gore was vice president of a North American nation, and he was promoting something called the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA. And he was debating on television, the most watched cable television show in American history. He was debating a dwarf named Ross Perot, who was suggesting that opening the borders with Mexico might cost America some jobs. In fact, he used the phrase, a giant sucking sound. And tall Al, laughed, and he laughed at the small man. Out of a 250,000 auto parts workers, we've lost about 200,000. So I have one suggestion for Al. I've always had this fantasy that every auto parts worker that lost their job because of NAFTA should be allowed to spank Al Gore once. It wouldn't actually accomplish anything, but it would kind of keep his head down for a while until this draft Mr. NAFTA craze stopped. Anyway, I can't take it anymore, so we're going to have to go to the heartland, to Youngstown, and to one of the great radio journalists of America who can tell us what happened in Ohio in the year 2000. Because in 2004, as you know, John Kerry won Ohio, and then it was shoplifted from him. But in 2000, Al Gore lost Ohio. Because when those auto parts workers lost their jobs, they didn't lose their votes, Al, and they remembered. Louis Free. You on the line, Louis?
Greg Palast, my friend, author of Armed Madhouse, that every household should have and be read.
Thanks, Louis, but you don't get the 10% anymore, so you don't have to mention it again.
I never got the 10%.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Author of Armed Madhouse. A couple of things I've got to say, if you don't mind. Firstly, Dr. Bronner's soap is the best soap in the world. Paul Hackett, who's been a guest of mine,
and Louis in the tub right now while he's talking to us. You could get electrocuted, Louis. That's not a good idea.
Iraq War veteran Paul Hackett tells a great story about his gallon of Bronner soap, and I'm sorry, I heard that.
Can you
earlier.
say this on the air?
I'm a huge fan. How are you, my friend?
I don't know. There's a draft. I just want to close the door on this. It's blowing here.
Greg, I do too. If you will allow me, let me read from AlGore2000.com. This is from Al Gore's website in 2000. Now, I'm in the heartland, and I have
Is this going to hurt?
Well, not you or I, because we know better. But it may hurt a lot of people, especially those that want to draft Al Gore. I want to close the door. Actually, I got a couple of places to send him. But this is from his website. A champion of free and fair trade for his entire career, Gore has been a national leader in opening markets around the world and tapping into the 96% of the world's consumers who live outside our borders, while at the same time, listen to this, protecting labor and environmental rights. I'm not sure where. With 1/3 of America's growth due to exports in the past 6 years and export-related jobs paying 12 to 18% more than other jobs, Gore has fought for free and fair trade to improve the lives and livelihoods of American families. Greg Palast from Niles, Ohio, a small town close to where I'm broadcasting from, between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, 100 jobs just last week went to Mexico. Thanks, Al.
Hey, ole.
I mean,
how do you say adios, Al, to those jobs? Well, actually, no. Now, be fair. As Al pointed out, because NAFTA opened up Mexico to Walmart stores, he said that would create jobs in America for American products. You know how many? Al, let's do a little arithmetic. Last time I looked, 83% of all products sold at Walmart under their eagle were made outside the United States.
Yeah. And much of that, of course, in China. And lest we forget, Al Gore also has strongly supported most favored nation trading status for China.
Hey,
according to
they're my most favorite nation for trading. They're the only nation that sells toys in leaded and unleaded.
And it's so bad that the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts had to recall their little badges because there was too much lead in them. The Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts of America are getting their little badges and buttons from China.
Thanks, Al. Thanks, Al. Listen, can you stay with us after the break? Till after the break, Louis.
I'm with you, bro.
You got me.
Greg Palast, Armed Madhouse.
We've lost about